These major altcoins are going to massively outperform the wider crypto market in the coming days and weeks, as we have started now to move into the most aggressive phase of this bull market yet. And if you don't believe me, well, this chart here is going to prove to you that we are now entering into this stage after what we saw happen in the news yesterday. So do me a favor, hit that like button, and let's get into today's video. Now guys, before we dive in and find out about those individual altcoins that I think are going to see some massive growth in the coming days and weeks, but I don't think we're going to want to hold on to them for the entire bull market, and I'll tell you why that is later on. We need to understand what happened yesterday and why everyone was so panicked and why you shouldn't have panicked at all. And I'm also going to explain to you what this chart is and how it can really help us out in the future should we get another event like this. Now, probably what happened yesterday is you woke up and you checked your portfolio and the market was down and you probably had a little bit of a panic to yourself. So what did you do? You rolled across to Twitter to try and find out what was going on, or rolled across to YouTube only to find a bunch of scary looking thumbnails. I told you, it's just another day in crypto. Stay calm. I said that you're closer to the pump than you think, and you should avoid overly emotional YouTube content, just trying to get your attention and feed on you for views. So why was yesterday a complete nothing event that absolutely shook the market? Well, what was the news? The news was that there was a Chinese company that launched an AI platform similar to ChatGPT, but apparently better, at a fraction of the cost, which made then everyone go, well, OpenAI is worth $157 billion and maybe it's a little bit overpriced. And then many people start to think, well, maybe Tesla's also overpriced and Nvidia and whatever else. But here's why it wasn't news. Everyone knows that those companies are already overvalued. I mean, look at Nvidia. Since 2020, it's done a 30x. It's now starting to pull back a little bit after yesterday's little pullback. What else was then the concern? Well, maybe China is now going to start to produce lots of things cheaper and better than the US is going to do. Well, it's pretty obvious, isn't it? China is already starting to manufacture various products of their own to compete with the likes of Tesla, etc. There's so many electric car companies in China. They're obviously developing their own AI, and because of labor costs, etc. here, obviously it is much cheaper for China to produce things than it is in the US or the UK or whatever. But are they technically advanced enough? Well, everyone's talking right now about Elon Musk having Twitter as a super app that can go and do different things like paying for your groceries or whatever it is. Well, in China, they've had WeChat for like 10 years, which is pretty much what Twitter's trying to do. So obviously there's technical advancement going on here. Everybody with half a brain for themselves would have realized that this is the case. And that news wouldn't have shocked anyone, which is why that news was just used as a simple tool to cover up a shakeout event. A shakeout event that was designed to flush out leverage in order for us to now progress to the next stages of this bull market. And how do we know that this bull market's not finished and that we're heading higher, not just in crypto, but in the stock market? Well, because right now we've got super high interest rates in the US, which are about to come down. We've seen liquidity, which is basically the major driver of everywhere, starting to continue to pump even more. And because the money supply will continue to grow into 2026, things are looking good. So any bad news within crypto bull markets or just bull markets in general is just designed to shake out the weak hands before you can head much higher. And before we go and find out about those altcoins, let me just quickly prove this to you. You see at the top, this is the volatility index for the S&P 500. Yes, the stock market, not for Bitcoin. It simply shows the volatility, the trading volume, etc. in the S&P 500. And typically the spikes on this are the biggest when we get fear events. This was obviously COVID-19. This here was that Japan carry trade, which we saw a big panic from in the summer. Look at the size of the panic that went on there. That was Bitcoin. It dipped all the way down to 48K, only the next day to go back to 57 and then pretty much continue on our way higher. Now, as we look into the VIX and we have a little zoom in here, you can see there's various other times that it spikes. And you can see on the Bitcoin price, every time we get a little spike here, the Bitcoin price will dip towards the downside like it did on this time here. Previously, you get the spike up here on the VIX. You can see dips down on Bitcoin. And now we've just had another one here, spikes towards the upside, gets wicked off, starts to come back down. And obviously we had that dip yesterday on Bitcoin. So with the stock market seeing that healthy shakeout, now ready to move higher, we're going to now see a much more comfortable time for the crypto markets to push higher as well. And also with all the major bullish crypto news coming out the US, as well as other places around the world, as well as surging liquidity, we have everything in place. Now, on a YouTube video over the weekend, I referred to a post from this guy on Twitter who was talking about various transactions going from exchanges across to Wintermute, who's a market maker, and back again in order to flush people out the markets. So every time the Bitcoin price went higher, Wintermute would just dump crypto back onto the exchanges, bringing the price back down again until they were ready to head much higher. After yesterday's shakeout though, after collecting a lot of liquidity, the prices are now ready to push. So as we look across at the Bitcoin chart, something very straightforward has taken place. We can see that we were in this downtrend. This downtrend consists of lower highs and lower lows. And that, as we can now see, has transitioned into an uptrend, which consists of higher lows as well as higher highs, and we will continue to move on and up from here. So how do we know which altcoins are going to see the biggest, most aggressive growth yet? Well, in Q1, which happens every time in a bull market, a crypto bull market, we see a little bit of kind of shakeout of sideways. We see Bitcoin pushing much higher, and then everyone wondering whether there's even going to be an altcoin season. You know, everyone promised me an altcoin season, but it never came. We heard this before, we hear it again, and all we're really waiting for is the exchanges to give us the green light to enter into the bull market when they stop trying to castrate every move that happens. So which coins are going to see the biggest growth in the first bull market stages? Is it going to be this coin or that coin, or which narrative? Well, ultimately, it's not necessarily going to be any independent narrative. It's going to be more likely than not the same coins that we saw rally as soon as Donald Trump got elected back at the end of 2024. How do we know that? Well, because the next phase, everyone knows, once we blow past here, the Bitcoin bull market isn't over. We flick from everyone being a bit uncertain to being very certain, and we know what happens then. Everyone will start to rush into the altcoins, as they always do, because altcoins offer better upside potential in the short term than Bitcoin. And since you're now subscribed to the House of Crypto with the notification bell turned on, so that you saw my video the other day and you've seen my videos in the past, where you start to understand that this is all basically a game being orchestrated by people with much more money and influence than we have, then you should be able to easily understand which altcoins are going to start flying first next. Not necessarily representative of the standard of that particular project or because of the team or anything behind it, but simply because these coins are on the biggest exchanges that have the most money and have the biggest liquidity to drive into those coins. Those coins then see significant rallies. We all get caught up in the hype, we join in, and eventually, slightly later on, the money will flow out of those coins into the smaller cap degen coins. And this all happens because the exchanges, etc., have to pump the volume in to get everyone back and excited again. Okay, because right now no one's really that excited. So everyone gets back in and gets excited. So which coins are going to pump? Well, of course, the coins that are available on Binance and Coinbase, like they did before. Now, you can get into your head all of the different narratives and reasons and stories behind why XRP is one of these coins, why Cardano is one of these coins, why ICP, Jasmy, HBAR, XLM, you name it, are all likely to be the coins that are going to see the biggest growth first. And that's fine, but ultimately, fundamentally, the thing that drives that first piece of growth is none other than the market makers and the exchanges. Okay, simply that. That liquidity pumps into the market, it causes FOMO. Everyone suddenly is turning on Coinbase again and Binance and being like, I want to buy this coin because it's up 15-20% today, and they're all focusing their attention there. Those coins will rally first. I'm already seeing it. Look, just yesterday, Bitcoin had this little recovery. Let's have a look at some other coins. XRP went all the way down here to 2.66. From that, it's now rallied back a whopping 16.5%. And you're like, 16.5% is not much. It actually is, given how big a coin this is. XRP has shown us here that it is going to be one of the first movers in the next leg up. Okay, what does the next leg up look like for XRP? Well, you can see what this leg up looked like. If we go from the previous swing high down to the previous swing low, you can see that it legged up to the 1.618 down to here. So the next move could look like this for XRP. If we take from the top here down to the wick here, maybe XRP heads up to around 3.89 to around $4 fairly quickly, and it gets lots of people excited. Okay, simply swing high to swing low on the Fibonacci 1.618. Obviously, it can kind of continue a little bit higher, but given the size of the market cap of this coin, etc., it can be difficult to see much more upside, in my opinion. Cardano as well is looking pretty strong. Now, I know lots of people will down below be like, oh, these are like the dinosaur coins, or this is better, or that. I really couldn't care less. I don't buy into these like XRP army and whatever you want to be, because to me it's weird. Okay, you need to be able to buy these coins, sell these coins. Don't get too caught up in what this coin does against that. All we're simply looking at is where the money's going to flow first. After that, I think you can get hung up a bit more on like which tech, etc., is more exciting. But in the short term, the things that will pump the hardest are the coins that are available on the big exchanges that will get the most liquidity and have good passionate following. Okay, Cardano as well being one of those. You can see right now is bouncing off an area like this. Now, how do I play this game? Because I don't think that these altcoins are going to deliver us an enormous amount of money in the coming weeks and months. I do think that they will lead the charge and bring in more money and more liquidity into the market, and a lot of the Bitcoin liquidity will kind of start to flow out into some of these altcoins as well. I personally have taken small leverage trades. Okay, I advise heavily against doing this if you're brand new to crypto. I personally taken small leverage trades on some of these coins like Cardano, like XRP, to basically see the next leg up. Why do I take a leverage position over a normal position? Well, because they're already at the lows. If I take a 2x leverage, for example, with like $5,000 on Cardano, if Cardano goes up 2x, I make another $5,000. But if I use 2x, then I can make $10,000. But on the flip side of things, on 2x, as long as Cardano doesn't come down 50%, I am safe. But if it does come down 50%, I lose everything. Ultimately, if Cardano comes down 50% from here, I would say that the bull market is finished and we're not even going to have a bull market anyway, in which case I would potentially lose anyway. So obviously don't use leverage if you don't know how it works. If you do use leverage, use very small amounts and only use it on big market cap coins, which are way less volatile because they don't come down nearly as hard as others. Okay, some coins will come down 50% and then you get completely wiped out, okay, because it doubles your loss as well as doubling your profit potential. And then what I'm looking for is like a 2x, maybe a 3x on some of these coins, and then I'm going to take profits aggressively and start to invest in the smaller cap coins that are yet to see some of that excitement and hype. Why? Because those coins don't have the liquidity, they're not on Binance, they're not on Coinbase. They will see the hype and excitement later on once people have started to make their money in Cardanos and XRPs and whatever, and start going shopping out into the wider world of crypto. And again, if you want to know exactly when to be doing that and which altcoins to be going after, then make sure you subscribe, notification bell turned on, and we will start to find some of those smaller cap coins before anyone else is talking about them. Now, if you don't want to play the leverage game and you don't want to hold these coins or whatever it is, that's absolutely fine. But all I want to tell you is that these coins will start to rally, and when they will rally probably sooner than most other coins out there. What I would avoid doing would be selling your underperforming altcoins to go and ape into these, because guess what? You've missed the majority of the moves on some of these coins. Okay, I don't expect them to necessarily head too much higher, but they will capture the initial attention. So just look, HBAR rallied up a whopping literally like 9x, okay? It did bounce around and then it's going to send higher. It will send higher, I'm confident of it. But really another 2x and maybe a 3x? If this does a 2x from here, it means the people who got in down here are at 16x, which is pretty damn impressive for a coin with a market cap of this size. Okay, a lot of people are very heavily invested in these coins. They get very behind them, very excited. These coins have huge followings. Lots of people will tell you how good they are. Lots of YouTubers know that people like these coins and will continue to make loads of content telling you that they're going higher and higher and higher. Just be careful, okay? In my opinion, they're not going that much higher. I personally am taking some little leverage trades. If I didn't want to do that because I hadn't got the experience, I would just simply wait it out, start to find my positions in other coins and get ready for what comes next. Again, XLM will likely run quite well, like XRP. Who else? Jasmine, as you can see, had a major pump towards the upside. Look how it captures so much FOMO and retail in it. Okay, for whatever reason, I don't know. Okay, and then it pulls down really aggressively. It does this because all the big money pull all their money out up here, and then everyone else just capitulates. Happens again, ICP, again, everyone's like, the tech's amazing, look at it, it's like the next breakthrough in AI and all this other stuff. It might just be, but ultimately these coins, like Nvidia and like everything else, are just trading instruments that are used by big money to make more money and take your money away. So what they do is they pump loads of liquidity in, they expand the market caps of these coins, and then they start to take profits on you. You just have to make sure that you don't get stuck in that trap and that you're able to take profits quickly and get out. Okay, any coin that was seeing aggressive growth like this from sort of 4th of November till 5th of December, you can see, for example, ICP, will likely see a lot of growth in that early stage, okay? You don't have to be too imaginative here. Now, in terms of like entering into long positions, you can, if you so wish, enter into them around here. You've got nice confirmations here as well. Okay, this isn't a trading channel. I specifically don't make trading content because I think leverage trading is far riskier, but like a 1.5x leverage or a 2x leverage, maybe just pushing to a 3x leverage, but you've got to be prepared to lose all your money if you do that, which I don't think you are, then that's maybe the only time I would consider it. But if you're just looking at spot trading right now, have this in mind that people like me are planning to do this. I'm going to be taking profits on these at like a 2 or a 3x. You should probably think about doing the same and starting to look into other coins. Now, as this bull market runs on, will we get a full altcoin season? Who knows? But I think we probably will, and it will be mainly narrative driven. For example, we might have AI pumping up at some point. We may then have another like real world asset season or a DeFi season. I personally hold a portfolio that is across a number of different coins, okay? So that whenever one of those narratives starts to pump, I can start to take profits from some of the coins in that particular narrative. This is basically how to play the game, okay? Don't put all your eggs in one basket, no matter how good you've been told it is. The only one that I would suggest that you can get away with doing that is Bitcoin, but you're probably not subscribed to my channel if the only crypto that you're holding is Bitcoin. If you are, Thanks for coming. Now, if you make lots of money on Binance and Coinbase with these coins, then great, but you're not going to make lots of money in crypto just buying these coins, because these coins have got massive market caps. They're not going to go that big. So you need access to other exchanges where you can access a huge amount of different altcoins. Now, a lot of you have been trying to use things like MEXC and others that are great exchanges, but much more difficult if you're in the US, etc., because you need to do a KYC. Therefore, I've recently partnered up with WEEX, which is actually a company that is owned by MEXC, but unlike MEXC, doesn't require a KYC. So wherever you are in the world, you can just access WEEX without having to use a VPN, without having to do KYC, and you can trade up to 650 different altcoins. If you use WEEX, as well as using Bitunix, between these two exchanges, you will be able to access the majority of different crypto coins out there without having to KYC. This is unbelievable. Okay, so buy crypto, whatever you're doing on Binance, buy it on Coinbase, turn it into USDT, whatever it is, send it across to these exchanges, and then you can go and trade actively, buying loads of different smaller cap altcoins should you wish, with some of the lowest fees available across crypto. I'm going to be constantly trying to update these exchanges and add new coins that I'm talking about all the time. So if you want to follow along with the channel, be able to access the coins I talk about, make sure you sign up for these two exchanges. Links are down below. Both of those links have exclusive bonuses for the House of Crypto members. Now guys, hopefully you enjoyed today's video, something a little bit different from what you're seeing out there right now. We're in a good place. Don't be too concerned about daily volatile movements. Things are good. Thanks for watching. Hit the like button, and I'll see you tomorrow in another video. Bye-bye.